Hello and welcome to Cyber Life. My name is Ken Underhill, your host. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, NFL player Amobi Okoye. Amobi is the youngest player ever drafted in the NFL. We'd also like to thank our sponsors for this episode, Cloud Underground. You can check them out at cloudunderground.dev. They specialize in DevSecOps, and they also have a free training dojo if you're trying to learn DevSecOps. So, Amobi, you played in the NFL for a number of years for a variety of teams, but something a lot of people probably don't know is you're also a genius. You tested out of junior high, you graduated high school at age 16. What was that like when you graduated at age 16 and now you're going to play in college football and be at college with all these grown adults? Was there any difficulty in your transition for that?
I want to say I adapted quickly because I was kind of used to always doing things I guess at a young age. For me, I felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing at the time. It didn't feel abnormal to me. Um, I mean, I could still tell for sure. Most people around me were, were older, but I felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing at the time.
So, Amobi, you're originally from Nigeria, where American football isn't really a sport that's played. There's a lot of track and soccer and things like that, or what we call soccer here in the U.S. What got you interested in football in the first place?
Growing up in Nigeria, is track and field, soccer, the main to today is still the main sports that the youth and the countries know about. And so when I got out here, then in our homeroom in high school, one of our coaches was acting as a substitute for the homeroom teacher. And he looked at me, saw I got some size on me, and he said, you should come out and play football. And one of my best friends to today, then he was already, playing, and he was like, "Yeah, you don't want to come out there, you get broke." And that alone just gave me the push to go ahead and give it a try. And at that time, I was in ROTC and choir as well to meet my curriculum. So I kind of wanted to get out of that. So that had me switch to seventh period athletics. And at the time, I wasn't doing anything active. So that kind of it all makes sense. And so not only to prove my buddy wrong, it also gave me, that self-confidence to just want to, get back to being active. And from there, I just picked up the sport and the love for it, and just love the hell out of it now. Like I said, on my Facebook page it says married to the pigskin.
So, as a genius, Amobi, you had a choice. You could go to more traditional college and play football, or you could play football for some of the Ivy Leagues out there. So, you had a difficult choice between Louisville and Harvard University. Why Louisville? What kind of drew you to Louisville over one of the Ivy Leagues?
At the time, picking up the sport and watching it more, and most kids always want to go to, when it's time to go to college, they want to go out of state, go away from home. So Louisville, my high school, we actually would go to football team camp, full contact camp during the summer at Louisville, because it's only 3.5 hours away from Huntsville, Alabama, where I went to high school and where I moved to from when I moved from Nigeria. And so we would go to these full contact camps over there every summer, and we did it like 3 years in a row. And that's kind of what drew me to Louisville a lot, because I was just like, you know what, I liked that it wasn't, it was out of state school, but it wasn't far from Huntsville, Alabama. It was only like 3.5, 4 hour drive. So it just kind of made sense to me. And I mean, I was getting all kind of offers and letters from Harvard, Dartmouth, like, all these Ivy League schools. And also, I think my first actual offer came from Georgia Tech. Letter offer came from Georgia Tech. And I just, the Louisville just had me sold. And then they had the medical program, which made sense what I wanted to do if, football didn't happen, wouldn't work out. So
Amobi, you're playing in the NFL, you're doing very well, playing for a lot of teams, just living the dream life that a lot of people have. But in 2013, something happens. You get an illness that kind of knocks you out for a while. Do you mind just telling the audience a little bit about what the illness is and what you experienced?
Look at it the most is what I beat. As far as the illness name was called anti-NMDA encephalitis. And what happened was a virus attacked my brain receptors. And just the way I'm talking with you right now, that's how the whole thing happened. I was just talking with my dad, and one of my best friends from college. He came in town. Um, I had just finished my sixth season in the NFL, second with the Bears. Yeah, I was a free agent, getting ready for free agency, getting ready for this whole new chapter in my life. Of the plan was to go back to Chicago and continue what at the time free agency. You never know. So I had just got done training, and we're getting ready to take a trip to Miami to just kind of decompress from all the training. And I'm sitting down, and I had a office space for my nonprofit and for-profit businesses and everything I was doing at the time then, which my dad was kind of overseeing. And so I went to the office to checking on things, and we were getting prepared for my annual trip to Africa that I had started as soon as I got into the league, as far as giving back to Africa. And just when I'm talking with you and my dad and my best friend, I had a seizure and was foaming out of the mouth. This was March 15th of 2013. And I don't remember or recollect, the whole episode of what happened, but it's what I was told. Had the seizures. I called, obviously the I have 911, and had me get to taking a look at. They ended up sending me back home. I had a couple more seizures after that, and then just when the whole episode of everything happened, March 15th of 2013 to August 7th of 2013. That period of time was the worst of it. August 7th is when I was kind of a little bit coherent. I thought it was still March 15th. And the nurse was like, I'm sorry, baby, you went through a lot. And I was, at the time I had a BlackBerry. I was like, bring me my BlackBerry. I need to see the date on it. And sure enough, it said August 7th. And yeah, that was the real walk. During that period of time is when I was in the three months of an induced coma, because they couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally I got diagnosed with this anti-NMDA encephalitis.
So, that illness and any other illness may knock a lot of people out. They may say, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I'm going to retire from the NFL and be totally done. But not you. You decided to make a recovery and go back to it. So, tell us about the recovery from that illness.
Everybody's personality is different, and majority. I wouldn't even say majority. Just everybody's different. Some people would have wanted to just be over and done with football and life in general, or just just. But for me, it was all about doing my best to get back to my state of mind at uh, August 14th, 15th. I mean, March 15th, 14th of 2013. I was just all about getting back to that mindset, that mind frame. But when you lose time, you lose time. A lot of things change, and so I just had to adapt and take things for what it was, and readjust.
Now, Amobi, we've chatted and you're all about giving back. You really try to help a lot of people all over the world. So, can you tell us a little bit about the foundation you created?
Our sixth mission trip back home to Nigeria and South Africa. At the time, initially we just started with Nigeria, and I started going to the very last trip before the illness. I went to Nigeria and South Africa, and I was embarking on taking the next to that same trip to go back again and give back, in a sense of with all the programs, pretty much the same programs that I had, things I was doing domestically here in the U.S. I was implementing those in Nigeria, and the foundation is split into two divisions: the international division and the domestic division. And domestic division, I would service the cities that are dear to me, as far as Huntsville, Alabama, where obviously I moved to when I moved from Nigeria; Louisville, Kentucky, where I went to college; Houston, which is home, is gonna pretty much gonna be where I retire now, and that since I've been drafted here; and then obviously all the other cities that I played in, I would always want to give back there with all the programs. I had a partnership with the NFL Play 60 where I would do we call it our Kickoff for Kicks activity, NFL Play 60 activity, physical activity camps, where obviously with the same mantra as the NFL Play 60, will get kids to get away from their Fortnites and their video games and just go and play outside and for at least 60 minutes. That had a tackle hunger program, which was pretty much just kind of like a feeding program to tackle hunger with kids and communities. What else? Movies and motivation. That's another program where I would take kids to the movies, talk to them prior to the movie, watch a movie with them, then talk to them after the movie, and then probably go to like some restaurant or something and just eat with them. And I would gather kids from like organizations that foster to at-risk kids, or just even just kids in general that have, but a lot of kids that have issues. So yeah, man, I was doing a lot. I'm doing a lot with the foundation, and I plan to keep on doing a lot more with it, and also incorporate the illness that the autoimmune illness I beat. I want to create more awareness, more be a more advocate for folks who are dealing with it like I dealt with it, because it's still in its it's getting more traction now, but it's still in the infant stages of where people don't know what it is.
So that's fantastic. You're helping a lot of children all over the world. Any final thoughts or advice you wanted to share with the audience out there, Amobi?
I would say just don't give up. Don't give up on hope. I'm a very spiritual person, and I think everything happens at its own timing, and its own timing as far as is God's timing, in my opinion. Everything happens on God's timing, and don't get frustrated. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's gonna happen when it's meant to be. That would be my advice. Just don't. It's easy to fall into that trap of I'm wasting my time and I'm not going, it's not going to happen or not. And I'm talking about just a general scope of anything you're putting your mindset to. Just know that it's going to happen when it's meant to happen, and that timing is God's timing.
Excellent. That's some really great advice. Sometimes we try to rush things, but if you just trust the timing, regardless of your belief system, but if you just trust the timing, it usually works out very well in the end. Amobi, again, thanks for coming on the show. You shared a lot of good information with the audience out there. Be sure to follow the CyberLife over at cyberlife.tv, as well as our LinkedIn and YouTube channels. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.